today I'll be introducing my Inktober. And before I talk about my final images that I posted on Instagram, I thought I'll bring you through my whole process about how I think about the different ideas. So let me show you the 3 lists that I've gone through for Inktober, which is the official Inktober list, the Drawtober list, as well as the Untitled. As you can see, it's a lot of words, and to come up with ideas that join each of these words for one day, I went to think about how there are archetypes in a lot of things, like the tarot cards, the major arcana, as well as archetypes that we use in storytelling, games, basically anything fictional, even in real life. And when it comes to all of these roles, you can put them into stories for each single day of Inktober. And before I thought about that, I was drawing a lot of different sketches like pumpkin head and for the frog witch, and I wrote a little narrative about this world in which all of the drawings will live in. And this was just the beginnings of the tale that I will come to tell in Inktober, and it was a very rough idea, and to be honest, when I read about it now, it feels a bit ridiculous. And moving on, this was how the ideas for my Inktober were conceived. I think I'm moving my hands a bit too much, but every single day I wrote down all the prompts as well as the ideas that I have and what is the story that I want to tell. So I did this for each of the days, and for the first few days, all of the ideas were a bit disconnected. They were individual stories, but it was when I got to day 10 that it began to flow as a story. And all of this was set in the world of my character Raven, whom I drew for my 3,000 followers event, and that was how it all began. So now I'll just bring you through all of the drawings that I've done, and I will go in depth into one of the particular days. For this last piece, because I'm posting on Instagram, what I did for all of the pieces was to mark out where the guidelines are so I know where to draw. And this was because Instagram, the largest vertical size, the portrait size that you can put in is 4:5 ratio. So within this space is where I draw everything. And to remind myself of the prompts for each drawing, I always wrote it at the top: slice, Hello Queen, as well as scissors. So when it came to this last image for Inktober, it was about closing up the whole story. When it came to Hello Queen, of course I would feature Raven, the main character, as the instrument of purifying, and going by the tarot archetypes, it would be the Empress. And to halo something, or halo is an object of purity, and she is going through an act of purification of one of the other characters, who is to shed all his past and history. And that is where the slice of Inktober comes in. And when it comes to the last prompt, which is scissors, coming from Inktober by the lovely Nadia, you can't really see it here obviously, but the scissors is actually crossing at the back. And what people may not notice, or they may notice, is that Raven has a lack of wing tattoos, and these 3 pairs of wings are actually drawn as part of her being pure, heavenly, angelic. I'm kidding right here, but this is where the lotus flowers come into this whole picture, because lotus in Chinese, in Asian origins, they signify purification as well as evolution. So this is how I put everything together into this last piece, and all of its elements to bring to a close my Inktober, Drawtober, and Orientober. And this would be my Inktober book, which is a compilation of all 31 drawings that I've drawn. I did one last year, and so I did one this year as well. And on the cover it features that really adorable cat that I drew. So I'll bring you through it. On the inner covers of all my books, I would always have a compilation of all the drawings, and this is the front page. So this is what the eventual final pieces look like. I scanned in all the drawings and colored them in Photoshop before putting them into Illustrator to put into all these individual pages laying out. And on top of each of these drawings, I have the prompts for each day there to indicate, and next to it is part of the narrative that I wrote for every single day. So this has for day 2, 3, and 4. Illustration for day 2 is over here, and these are the illustrations for day 3 and 4. So this is what I've done at the end of Inktober. And this is the final page, which features the drawing that I went through just now. So this is the final text that I wrote, and this is the last page. And this is the end of Inktober.